And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we move on to the, I would normally say the green fields of Erangel, but it's not. It's going to be the, what could I call Sanhok? The rainy, no, the palm trees? Palm trees, we could go with palm trees. I don't know, really.
So we've got the sunny, sandy shores of Miramar.
Yeah. The
green, grassy pastures of Erangel. The winding waters of Sanhok. Palm trees, Paradise Resort. It's quite hard to say.
I don't really. We'll have to think. We'll have to work on that one, boys.
The high hilltops.
You guys said that could work. The high hilltops of Sanhok.
The snaky shards of grass of Sanhok.
Maybe. We'll figure it out as
we go.
It's all right. We got another 19 Sanhok games to figure it out to get ourselves an idea of where we're going with that one. But where do we see this one go? And obviously we've only had our first glimpse in the PEL. FaZe Clan won it. Again, it was one of the games that they kind of went to them, right? So it was hard to have a big read on it, but we did see some really high kill counts. Yeah. We saw Team Liquid popping off. We saw N47 having a cracking game. Vasco was going off in that game.
Top 5.
We should also point out DESPERADO, who did just win that game.
Calm down, mate.
The DESPERADO, who did just win that game, have been clashing with NIP.
They
in scrims all the time, and obviously yesterday
they got bodied. Yeah, they got completely bodied. It was a one.
Well, they went down to a 1-on-1 at one point.
It did, but then they ended up losing completely out it there and picking up 1 point off the back of the full trade. You mentioned big kill counts. It was FaZe 8 kills and the win 18 points. Liquid 8 kills and the second place 14. N47, the only team that had double digits. They came out with a 15-point game in third. Reciprocity 3 and 7. And then in fifth, to round out your top 5, NIP. In terms of individual performances, Braexco, good start for him, 6 kills in total. James, 4 kills. Page also on 4 kills, and that kind of sets the story. Keep going further afield. Vard, Miraku, that'll have been off the start, kind of mean to ends, but at the moment Miraku's just trashing this phase when it comes to damage done and kill stats in total. Yannis also had a belting game in this one. Quite a lot of high damaging games, 350 plus all in all. The highest actually damage dealer throughout the entirety of Sanhok so far. Yes, we're only 1 game in, but we still need something to talk about. It's Page. He was up there at 830, and the next nearest person was James down in the 600s.
Oh, I see. So Page was doing the hits, and
Vasco
was stealing the kill.
Well, he got 4 and 1 knock, and then Vasco got 6. So
yeah,
you never know.
Yeah. So see how it works out, of course. Early days for Sanhok. We've got 20 games to play through in this Phase 3. Team Liquid boys yet to see a win from these guys. Of course, they've always been there or thereabouts. But cheeky wink from SIMSY.
How do you think it went? Did you enjoy him?
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how it's going to develop. Obviously, because we had G2 going in a boat, right? Yep. Obviously, they ended up, they had a really big loot spread actually, Camp Alpha. You know, I want to see whether we have any more clashes, whether we see teams. I want to see if anyone's going to figure out basically the best way to play Sanhok. And I think that's really what everyone's looking to at the moment. We had the whole dilemma of Mirage when Mirage came in. Obviously, you know, everyone was against it, and suddenly they figured it out, and suddenly they realized how to play it. And that's really, you know, the path that I feel this is probably going to take a similar style. Sure, everyone's against it originally, and then people realize how to play it, realize the style, and it is going to be a different style because it is half the size. The map is a much smaller map, so therefore it requires a very different play style. What I mean by that is a lot of these guys, obviously, they grew up on Erangel. They want a compound with a 200-meter radius around them so they can see anything. You don't get that in Sanhok. You're in a much more close-quarter combat environment.
Well, look, I'm not all for being negative. It's not about that. But it is about touching different bases and talking about the bigger picture. It has been an interesting topic of discussion over the last few months with the players, with PUBG Esports, with everything about it. But even on Twitter last night, Fuzzface was still pretty vocal. Wasn't happy with the win. Basically said it was a gifted win once the circle does come in.
I mean, in fairness, they were in the compound, right?
Yes, which is intriguing for me to see if this kind of flow continues, see if anyone can work out a way to play it, if there is a way to play it, for example, or unfortunately if it is a matter of playing for survivability against the blue, should it be rather unfavourable.
So that almost leads into what we were feeling with Mirage when, I mean, for example, last game, prime example, Desperados knew where that was going to go. We all had an inkling there is either going to go north or south towards the end of that compound. It's either going to go Minister Generals or there. Well, similar situation, but then you bring into a different thing. If you know roughly where the circle's going to go, you have to have then almost a practice style of, right, you'll start, people will learn tactics and counter-tactics and how to figure out, for example, TSM and Team Liquid clashing on the hill. Well, we may see a different style. TSM might approach that differently. They may figure out if FaZe's compound turns out to be a fantastic compound. We start seeing fights for it. You know, it's just the evolution of the map. And I'm looking forward to see how it's going to go. And looks like the players are ready to go. They're going to be in the plane.
I'm also looking forward to see if we actually see a difference in a turn-up now from Desperados. Where do they go? Do they continue the aggressive stance against NIP and say, okay, well, we want Ruins, this is where we want to be, and this is where we will continue to go? Reciprocity in Phase 2. They stood their ground. It didn't pay off because, well, you could say it didn't pay off because then we're going down to relegation. But they're here and the team they faced off against did not.
Ooh.
Flight path this time, complete polar opposite, mirror image essentially. Starting off down the south, but more towards the northeast. Ruins, NIP Desperados, do we get the battle once again?
We will keep our eye in the skies. Let's drop down. FaZe will be going into Painan once again. We expect Team Liquid to be a boot camp. There's a couple coming out. There is NIP and Desperados. G2 are going to do a passover because they're heading towards Camp Alpha, but it is going to be another Ruins clash once again to start things off. The Knights are going to be so happy because they've got so much territory down there along with Reciprocity, but no, everybody long dropping in. Who can hit the roof? Who can find the gun first? Who can get the quickest? We saw a double shotty. Double shotty was the first one to go off yesterday, so it was really grab what you get and pray that it's a good gun.
Look, that thing fires, I think it's 8 or 9 pellets.
It's a Tommy gun. Ultra Star, he's going to get it loaded the quickest. Question is, he comes around, he sees Miracle. Miracle can't get the reload. He's just below. TomiL, also, he's got him Saga. TomiL's got a Saga, but it's going to be MBS with the micro Uzi that will start things off.
Uzi on the corner does lean peeking, and remember, this is with 3 or 4 different levels on this Ruin side build, if you want to classify the top one. Ultra will finally find an M4, so at least now has an AR to fight the battles with, but they can watch these open top holes, if you want to call them that, so to speak. Level 2 helmet at least will be a survivability factor. Remember, these players are not only playing off the back of weakened guns off the start, but also no loot, and that's why TomiL's probably fallen down instantly, because you've got no chest, you've got no helmet. I mean, Christ, before the shotguns themselves, even with level 3 gear, besides the AWM, are the only guns that will one-shot people that are tanked up. If you have nothing, shotguns at this stage, regardless of any gun, but shotguns especially, they are absolutely devastating.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the Vector at this range is absolutely lethal.
Anything is going to be lethal. And even more so with the next patch after this one, with the smaller SMG meta.
Ultra's just got across. That was a big play. He caught Calvin Klein. He doesn't know that Ultra's at the bell. Has no choice. Vard, he just about gets down the gap. That means he's going to get the revive off unless they try and get across to get him back on his feet. And I think Calvin's also being revived. He is, so TomiL's going to get the heal off there and should be able to get him back.
SIMSY.
Okay, this is a good play, if you can get the angle.
I mean, there's also a play where you say, okay, well, let's disconnect and disengage completely from this and go for the bells. The bells will hold gear. There's 4 of them around this surrounding. There's also 2 little huts more towards this side where SIMSY is. You'll be able to get... Oh, catches them with their pants down, rather unfortunately. Gaxy's also there, so instantly goes for the Saga because you can get it at that range. Regardless, it will still hurt, and this comes down to the lack of armor, really.
Oh, MBS replies. TomiL's head caught out there, but he's trying to creep around. You can see Desperado's making the play. There is a game playing on as well, by the way, but this is the fight. We knew this was the one to watch. Everybody else is fairly close. There's no really clashing. We'll keep you updated. I'll keep glimpsing over at the map as we see.
Same circle as yesterday, I think.
It's a 3v4.
A little bit more towards
it's a bit north.
Slightly more weighted towards the west, but excuse me, the east. Lack of water in on the east, western side. Upstairs, they'll have had to go for TomiL on the instant res because it was second knock. They do get them all back on the feet. For me, it's NIP who are probably in a better position because they should, in theory, have more gear.
Calvin just got above them. Well, they're down, man, as well, don't forget.
TomiL's still completely bald. He has no chest and no helmet.
Just like real life. MBS sees Ultrastar. Has to back away. No meds now. 3 hit points and a dream is all he got, but he got Ultrastar down. Another knock comes in. That you were talking about it, the bleeds. Is he going to be able to drop down there? Oh, Ultrastar coming around the side, but Gaxi. Now Calvin trying to play the off angle, working well. TomiL's back in for the revive. Calvin keeps them at bay. Thankfully. MBS on 3 hit points. Gaxi down. Miraku really the last man standing. It looks like it's going to be Desperados that will come out on top with Vard already down. Meanwhile, someone's happy. They've got themselves a crate. It's ubah, the most successful player in the last 2 months. No doubt about that.
He's been shredding with that Uzi. Even though it's a completely weird and wonderful scenario, it kind of gives you some idea of what's going to happen in the next season, next year, when we have this new patch and this new angle. Gets the job done. Miraku knocks Calvin. I think that's potential second knock, so that'll be a very quick bleed out here.
I think what we're seeing here is a fantastic array of skill between these guys, but also the movement. MBS is going to go for the flush here, SIMSY. Managed to get him back on his feet. Gaxi trying to hold the angle. Miraku, meanwhile, on the roof, going off, gets Ultra and Calvin down. Gaxi realizes there's one on the steps, gives the call out, but MBS is downed. SIMSY going to go for the peek. He could try and hop over and get himself a better angle, but he's so worried about where Miraku's position is. Miraku flushing out the kill. SIMSY goes for the peek. How has this gone wrong for Desperados? Gaxi will take him down, and while both of them are on absolutely no health, he's managed to find himself 5 bandages, and TomiL will find himself on his own, and now he's managed to pick up the barrel.
But again, no armor. Absolutely nothing.
He knows that Miraku's coming. Gaxi's up the steps alongside. Meanwhile, there is action going on across the map. That's Senya down. Rustanmar finding him out. There is going to be smoke to cover him off, though. But TomiL, much more extended fight today. This was done and dusted within 2 minutes, I think, yesterday. But 6 minutes in, it's still going. But it is Senya that is getting revived. ENCE look like they're just going to move. Now, ENCE, if you remember rightly, they got boxed in at the quarry yesterday, so they've chose to go a different position this time. And again, they are sort of bumping heads. And this is what we're going to see throughout the season. Oh, wow. Hello, Edelweiss. You just ran straight into literally tripping over them in the rice fields there. But what I was saying is, obviously, based on the paths, because it is a smaller map, rotations, you're almost certainly going to get them to bump into each other. Now, remember yesterday, Raise Your Edge got decimated by 7, so this may be a bit of revenge. Raise Your Edge playing a different advantage.
Caldermenta goes down to Dovnik. Not too much respite, as Buster will fall back. SKUIJKE carry on 3 different fights here. Looking at 2 different angles of these ones. Grenades up and over from both sides of the coin. Caldermenta should be able to have the res here. Out in the side, need to be careful of Krabic, who's just lingering in the blue. Could be problematic. I'm still waiting for that 16 team to go down, who the decider will be. Both of those players and teams over by Ruins, basically playing against the blue now. That's the next enemy for them. So Dovnik could get an off angle here behind Raise Your Edge. It's just trades for trades across the map at the moment. 3 different fights we have underway.
ENCE go down first here. TomiL, oh, he's come out on top. Now, I want to question what is going on, because we're now at 7.5 minutes. They're well in the blue. They've got no meds. I think it's just bandages. TomiL's found himself a first aid from somewhere with Gaxi down. But either way, mutually assured destruction for both NIP and Desperado, as we've seen so often with the early fights.
But that's why it's so good to be able to get Ruins. Whoever commands this has a very good drop. That it's full of gear. If you land there, the whole squadron will be getting geared up to the 9s, and they can move forward. And because you're kind of on your lone island, you're not going to have to... You know for a fact your north's going to be clear because you've got a bridge. So it's a really pivotal place to take on such a small map. So I understand it. ENCE, unfortunately, they came into this match as the 16th team in the league. And that's how they leave it. It's
a detriment to how long that fight between NIP and Desperados has been going on. The fact that ENCE actually go out before them because they're still fighting. Miraku looks like he's peeling out of that one. That was some nice shooting from Dovnik. Been watching this man for 2 years in PUBG throughout various tournaments. It's great to see him back in the PEL.
Hit it, bang! That's a shot.
Some work.
Woo! You love to see it. Especially when he's getting peppered from a different angle as well. Oh, that's incredible.
It's a reaction shot as well. When it's that third one is just a simple turn and shoot. and finds the head instantly. Pinpoint accuracy, just tried and tested. G2, by the way, choosing a different route. You can see them there. They were engaging in that. Obviously, yesterday we saw them going in boats around the north. This time they decided, no, we're just going to come in out of the blue, slow and steady. Somehow, Team Liquid and TSM have kind of overlapped one another. TSM are almost the boot camp side, while Team Liquid have come further closer. FaZe have gone in towards the quarry sort of area. N47, similar. You already saw Na'Vi as well. Digital Athletics and GamerLegion, they clashed yesterday. Now, TSM, for me, look like they're trying to head off the northern teams. Looks like they're going to try and get themselves a position. They're well aware that either Seven, Razor Edge, and G2 are all coming in from this northern side because of the amount of times they've practiced and scrimmed. Obviously, yes, this is only a second game official, but they've all seen and they know the path. So it's, I think we're going to see a lot of this, a lot of trapping, effectively, to catch teams out and they rotates.
TomiL off in the distance, does have a vehicle, and he's just driving on a westerly road. Miraku looks like he's looking for gear, but both of those teams down to one man. The Knights are holding point far in the west. Dead plumb on the edge of the circle. Could be a dangerous choice should the next circle completely go away from them. Again, DESPERADO's just playing for placement here.
Got to keep up with him. TomiL's driving fast here over the bridge.
Jumps him into 12, so it's a bit of a decent placement on the last and gives them a good boost. ENCE, unfortunately, it will be, again, 14 points and just kind of sticking with it. G2, similar to yesterday, they rotate, this time in cars rather than in boats, all the way around to the eastern side and play off the back of it. The problem is that they have to move up the rice hills, and directly in front of them, once they go up and over this, you will have CrowCrowd waiting for them. They're inside the buildings, they're going to have hard cover. It could be really detrimental and really problematic should they expose themselves, but I like what they've done. I can see on the map they've gone for a 1-1-1-1-1 split. So they're all separated, which gives them emergency backup situation, emergency backup plans. Miraku found.
Oh, one shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, but when you're coming out of the blue, and that's kind of why Sadovnik probably hit that shot with the Insta, for the simple fact in the blue you have no health, so you just go down and drop like a fly, to be fair.
Braexco. We saw them split G2. That one didn't work. So trying to sacrifice themselves effectively to find a simple compound. That's really all you can do at this stage when it's...
Gives them info. It's better than all the team dying, right? Just lose one man, who is your scout. They could play the north. You've only got TSM and GL up there. So there is something to work with.
Well, the circle's centered up, which puts reciprocity and FaZe on the southern edge. The Knights, as you mentioned, you know, it's kind of kicked them because Team Liquid are holding that edge circle now and gatekeepers, and the Knights kind of have to pass into that territory that the likes of Jeems, etc. are looking at. You can see them way over here on the west. It's a tricky run. Luckily for them, lots of trees. Give them as much cover as they can through the hillside. Kar 98, you were talking about this yesterday. Real's rocking that Kar 98 still.
Yeah, it depends. It's not. I still think if you can get a hands on a DMR, especially the QBU, like it's QBU and QBZ on this are just disgusting.
It's like firing a laser, I believe, was Mex's phrase yesterday after winning the game yesterday.
There's been some other kind of conversations of how we could play Sanhok, and one of the suggestions was remove all DMRs and all snipers. Don't know how much of a difference it would make, but it's certainly an interesting theory. Kar 98 will not get chance to do any work whatsoever, as Wanted is, excuse me, the player with it was
going to burn, but I think that nade he got off at the end there, he will flush it, yeah, so he knew he was going to die.
That's BM.
No, yeah, that's clever.
No, I love it, it's good. It's
you know you're dead. It's
you're
like,
going to be fuming, aren't you?
Let's secure a point. Screw you, boom.
It'd be forehead.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean...
But
I'm dead against, by the way, removing DMRs and stuff. You want to keep it as real as it is in retail as humanly possible in esports, in my opinion. It's what we see, what we play, needs to be on the same level.
Going back to that Knights player, I don't really think you can play Edge until about Circle 4, maybe even Circle 3. Playing there and their position is what has put them out of this game. You cannot sit on the edge and expect such a small area that lacks compounds. Well, there is compounds, excuse me, but what lacks open territory to take. With 13 teams up, like, that's killed them, not being thinking about the next circle and where they can go. You cannot sit against, on that circle, you cannot sit against the white and expect to survive the next rotation.
I am seeing teams sitting at the same compounds. N47 in the same position they were yesterday. DA in the same position they were yesterday. So this may be something that carries on, and whether it works out for teams or whether it doesn't, you know, they're all going to start learning, because obviously this is a learning phase, right? Everybody's going to figure out the rotation paths, which is a safe route, which is not a safe route, and not only the route, but we have to take this route because this team is always in this compound. You know, I always remember sitting backstage with not Break, it was Smack backstage when we were in Dallas. No, we weren't in Dallas, we were in Austin. Still Texas, yeah. When we were in Austin, and he was basically saying, oh, this team's going to be in that compound, this one's going to be in this compound, because obviously as the old former IGL of TSM knew where people were going to be. So he had all the information of knowing, oh, they're going to go to that house, they're going to go to that house, they're going to go to that house. So you can pick your rotation path and avoid X team and Y team if you want to maybe even crash Z team.
FaZe have found an open compound. They've had a pretty good road so far into the circle, and how they've found this compound completely uncontested is beyond me completely. You shouldn't have anything free at this stage in the game. Desperados, ironically, do actually out-survive NIP this time. They're in 12th. TSM have been spotted by GamerLegion. This could be extremely problematic now because they can hold them at gunpoint and throttle their approach into this circle. Liquid also might have a bit of a difficulty. There is a potential here that they actually push barn, and by doing so use the cover of the barn to hide themselves and shield themselves from GamerLegion.
Oh,
maybe
this is a run.
Catch them napping.
This is a run. That's the reciprocity. As QBZ's can hit and fire fast, but he's got away with it. His bike took a fair amount of damage. Oh no, there's FaZe. Oh, he's just run straight into Aitzy. mxey in the end will rip his head off.
We've got a three-way that's going to go down in the north. TSM cannot get in. Same with Team Liquid.
Yeah.
GamerLegion has the main... For Liquid, they could play it safe and just camp down. But honestly, I think they'll get involved in this.
Oh, they're going to go for this. They will do. mxey. He may even get finished and flushed. Vex runs straight out into them. Meanwhile, G2 actually have engaged on Na'Vi, so Pokemondo down, sending the last man standing for them on the hill just in the background there. Yannis will finish the job, so Na'Vi will go out in 10th place as the nades get lined up, but Beyond sees and sprays him down, has to run out of the house. Nobody from TSM backing him up there, Rory. You thought he'd have the fire support from up on high. Iroh in the end will return fire, but Hamster now trying to get himself another angle.
And this all comes off the back of GamerLegion, tunnel vision onto Liquid. TSM, it was time for them to strike. They got a player down and made an advancement. While this has been going on, Liquid has took full advantage of the situation. They have got behind GamerLegion. They are now inside the circle. The circle has also gone their way. This is a really reactive, brilliant move. And a pincer potentially coming out of Team Liquid.
Yeah, this is now a very much a play for position. mxey's going to be the man that gets up close and personal on the backs of GamerLegion, but I think he just took some shots either at or from G2. I'm not too sure. Themselves are near DA. You can see the map in the corner there. That's how much of a shift it is when we're getting ready for rotations to figure out how it's going to be, and Michael figuring out what exactly he's going to do to get out of this sticky situation.
You mentioned K9. I am seeing a player we won the drop. They've got a good position again. DA yesterday were holding it down for a while.
Rec and moving on FaZe.
It didn't go so well for DA yesterday. They got split between 4 different teams. This time they're not in as an exposed position. They do have a compound. He touched on Rec. They are making an advancement. Yeah. mxey will open up. Monkey the first one to fall.
Finished and flushed. That's the danger. If you do suddenly get spotted, there's no foreground, no fallback.
Sixmo's just mentioned the sniper. He's got Beyond down and actually flushed him. This just makes life 10 times easier for Liquid.
Yeah. GamerLegion are moving. There's 3 of them coming out of there. So and that's TSM finished off. So that's their backs now safe. They need to look at CrowCrowd. They need to look at Team Liquid. And you can see SIMSY and mxey, the Finnish brothers. Whatever you'd like to say about them, TomiL with a bit of banter, but...
Really quickly, in what world has ever happened? CrowCrowd have just been given 2 crates. They've just landed on the head and collected both of them.
And they've just come straight in the back of GamerLegion. mxey caught out. They've just got the crates, ran towards the fire, thought, right, we are stacked. Let's go for it.
Well, if you got two, but I mean, you can even potentially share out that gear completely. If someone's lacking a helmet or he's weak, you're going to have two level 3 vests, 2 helmets between them. I definitely saw
N47 are pushing on the back. G2 and N47 are pushing on FaZe Clan. This is some aggressive stuff. We saw N47 doing some fantastic work on Sanhok yesterday, getting themselves 10 kills. Vascu and Page doing some serious work. This little underhand nade's going to finish the job. That's one off to the side. Ubah forced to back away from that one as the nades roll down the hillside. Once you've got that hill advantage, it can be huge. Reciprocity on the flip side of paying the price. Team Liquid falling as well to hamster the last man standing for them. That was a molly right on top of Jeems' head. He's going to get caught out. He will get flushed down. Does get dropped, but Reciprocity also falling in the background. That's FaZe with the big nade from mxey finishing the job.
Yeah, we're a 2-for-1, so it will seal the deal. G2, is left in a very strong predicament here. Who do you face off? He's between two teams. There is support from the centralized of the circle, but the problem is N47 know exactly where he is. He should go down in this engagement. FaZe Clan might take advantage of this scenario. G2 is causing N47 problems. FaZe have to advance. FaZe, that's exactly what they're doing. They're getting involved while all this mess is going down.
Gets them both down. This is so easy for him in the end. Sees NELLOZ down low. Has to turn around. That nade's going right on his chin there. 3 hit points. Has to duck himself down. Meanwhile, Tiikzu gets involved. Gets the shot onto ubah and NELLOZ in the background. CrowCrowd trying to benefit from the third party. Once we're in this position, it is such a short-range circle that everybody can get the fire on. That grenade coming down. The blue's going to get him. mxey goes down. FaZe go down. 5th place for them as N47 make them pay the price. But the problem is they put themselves out of position. And look at Mitraleius. He had a Vascu dead to rights there. Sees exactly where they are. Gives the information to his team.
This should absolutely be a CrowCrowd win. All 4 players up and nobody in a good 60 to 70% of the map. They control it. They've got 2 crates. They're all up and they're all just overwatching this entire battle that goes down over on the western side. This is extremely messy. We've lost, what, 6 teams through that last rotation?
N47 just got bodied by DA there.
And now the circle goes to the north. No one else in it but CrowCrowd. This is CrowCrowd's time to read it, be reactive, and go up against it. Go up against the white and stop anybody making an entry point towards them.
Yeah, they know that DA have to come out of the compound. G2 have managed to creep themselves into the top 3. Yannis, and, you know, they went for that sort of spread, splintered strategy, and it's kind of worked out for them. And as you say, CrowCrowd, they have it. They are in the driving seat. All 4 alive, tons of gear, just about everything they need.
You see the power of the silence QBU just peppering people? Like, there's barely any kick on that thing. It is a laser beam. It's a nasty gun. It does so much damage, and it's going to be a real big factor here on Sanhok. 2 players left. Yannis probably will go. Oh, excuse me. Yep, it's gone.
Yeah, Mert's the last man. Sees him, takes him down, and CrowCrowd picked themselves up. It wasn't spectacular. It was an 8-kill win, but they were over on the side. As you mentioned, they got gifted those crates. They moved in on the back of the GamerLegion TSM Team Liquid little triumvirate that was going on and benefited absolutely from it. The Finnish boys, don't forget, they just got 2nd place in the last game, right?
Yep.
Against Desperados. I think they've just proved the point. You know, Desperados, TomiL was like, we knew it was Finland, we can take them down, but CrowCrowd answer back with a win of their own. And it's great to see.
They'll be doing them well as well when we look towards points. They came into this one in 10th position. Not into single digits yet, but certainly that one will send them at least above NIP and N47, I would have thought.
Another good performance from N47 on Sanhok, by the way. I think we're starting to see something here. They've maybe put a bit of work into it.
N47 Sanhok players, is that what we're saying?
I mean, that's a little harsh, but they've clearly put work into it. That's what I mean. But that's actually quite a clever play, because if you can work it right in your situation, you're coming into it. Obviously in Phase 3, veterans, everybody that's played, you know, Mirage. I said it again, didn't I? Miramar, and because I can't help it. There's a major in Berlin right now. Everyone that's been playing Miramar and Erangel for years and years. Obviously these guys 2 years technically, but they're coming into the league, and everybody, FaZe Clan, Na'Vi, these big names, these monsters. It is also their first game since. So right, let's put our lot into that, and that's where we can garner our points.
While I agree with you, and I understand where you're going with that one, if a team does do that, the negative side would be that it only makes up 20% of the map pool.
That's really all you need. If you can
do
well in 20% of the games in the whole of FaZe, that's pretty big.
What about the rest of the 80%?
It doesn't matter. You're not going to have one team that wins all that. You only need top 6. If you can do well in 20% of the games, you can get it. Well, anyway, we'll debate that and leave that to the mathematicians. I know there's a couple of statisticians out there that will figure it out, but let's get over to the guys that won it. CrowCrowd, the Finns, respond to TomiL.